Hello and welcome back to my channel. In this video, we'll be reviewing tips for the removal and replacement of the positive crankcase ventilation valve on this 2024 Ram 2500 with the 6.4 liter engine. If you find my tips to be helpful, please like, subscribe, and comment. Now let's get started. The PCV valve is located in the center of your screen near the tip of my pointer. So here's the housing, this area here, and then the valve itself is on top. Okay, there's a cap that you can turn. That is the valve right there. Some of the symptoms associated with a faulty valve include increased fuel consumption, rough idle, oil leaks around the valve cover gasket. That's if the valve is stuck in the closed position. Excessive suction on the oil cap. That's if the valve is stuck in the open position. Class 3 oil leaks associated with a stuck or closed valve, and colored exhaust. This valve does not throw a code, but it will create symptoms that will trigger codes for other parts on the engine. And so this is why I call this part the silent engine killer, because there's no code tied directly to it. However, there are two codes that may indicate that the positive crankcase ventilation valve is faulty. And those codes are P0171 and P0174. Okay, so you'll want to watch out for those. So you may ask yourself, what does this part do? A positive crankcase ventilation valve is a one-way valve that routes harmful crankcase gases back into the combustion chamber to be burned as part of the air-fuel mixture. Our supply list includes a positive crankcase ventilation valve, pliers, engine degreaser. Please see other items in the description below. So let's go ahead and move forward with the removal and replacement of the valve. Removal of the valve is pretty straightforward. Basically, it's an oil cap with a stem attached to the bottom. If the valve has not been removed in a while, you might have to use a pair of pliers to rotate this in a counterclockwise direction, okay? So I reach in, there's a hose right here. I'm just gonna turn it counterclockwise and keep turning it until it pops off. And there you have it. That is your PCV valve. So let's just take a look at it from top to bottom. And so there's that piece right there that you can use to rotate and remove the cap. And you can see it says on, which is clockwise, and then off is counterclockwise. There's an O-ring right here. You want to make sure that that's in place in good condition. Moving down, you'll see there's some openings. There's a spring-loaded mechanism in there. And so this valve was not throwing a code. However, these valves do become stuck in the open position and stuck in the closed position. A functioning valve should sound like this. Okay, so that's very clear movement of the spring-loaded mechanism inside there. If you were to shake this valve and it was very dirty, you could barely hear any movement at all. One option you could have is to use some engine degreaser, spray in here, shake it, clean it out, maybe put some hot water in there, clean it out again really good, shake it. If it rattles loud like I have it here, I would say it's functioning. You could put it back in the vehicle. However, I would only do that once. If it came around the second time you were having problems, it threw a code, I would simply just replace this part. Okay, I would only clean it once and then replace it. Okay, so you could get like an extra maybe 15,000 miles out of it if you cleaned it. That's my whole point. That's your pro tip. And when you clean it, you make sure you spray into all of these openings where your eye protection, because it will shoot out in different directions. And that's about all I really wanted to show you guys. Let's go ahead and get this reinstalled and move on with this video. There's an arrow here, there's an arrow there. And when you install it, you'll have to install these arrows where there's gaps in the housing, okay? And you'll see what I mean once you get a closer look at it. So basically, you can see it's going to be installed like this. There's a gap in the housing on this side, and there's a gap in the housing on that side, okay? So let's go ahead and get it installed. Just coming in over the top, line it up, press it down. Saw what I did there? So I lined it up in the gap, and then I used my pliers to lock it down into place. And you can't see it on the camera, but right about here, there's a area that the one tip fits in perfectly. So you're gonna have to turn it like 1/8 of a turn and lock it in. Okay, I hope you guys can understand that. And with that wraps up this video on the Positive Crankcase Ventilation Valve for this 2024 Ram 2500 with the 6.4 liter engine. I hope you found my tips to be helpful. Please like and subscribe, and until next time, drive defensively.